Hi all. Turn 16. US action phase. Nothing can go wrong now. As long as we've calculated everything right, although that happened in the last game, Grant, and you hadn't calculated it properly. So, um, yeah, nothing can go wrong, I don't believe, even if we make attacks. No, I did have a wee sort of. I was watching back some of the stuff, and I thought, oh, what if you attacked, and then the depth marker turned up a tactical reinforcement and it reinforced in a position that blocked all your communications. I was like, and then I remembered, we have no more tactical reinforcements in the box, so we're all right with that one. Um, so yeah, I haven't watched back last night's episode. I think it might have been a bit slurry and and probably dragged on far too long because I was killing time to try and make it more of an episode so that you wouldn't just think it was 10 minutes and then that would be that, and he's obviously failed and whatever, so we kind of drew it out a bit. But sorry if it was a bit maybe turned into a bit monotonous sort of episode, but however, yeah, I just finished watching back on the previous one, which was the part 20. And yeah, there was a couple of things. I was cringing a bit when I noticed that I didn't make this attack in the red position. And then when we counted up, what was it, 8 points over in the east? And then we only had 2 points here, and I'm thinking, well, Grant, that's only 10 points. So if you're getting 8 points in the east, and in fact, is that not still the case? No, I must have found another point in the end. Well, I did. I have spotted one, but I don't think I mentioned this last night, which I'm sure some of you knew. This spot, because this ranger can just as easily move into here, and then he's controlling both of these. Well, however, this hero's controlling this as well, but these are both controlled. There's no fire into them, and we both can go trace away up that way and round. So that is actually 1, 2, 3 points that we've got here. I'm just wondering though, but like I say, this was a point, and I mean we still don't know what the depth is, but we chose not to use an action on that because we wanted to do this thing beside the brown, and I'm like looking back on it, wondering why. But yes, I suppose I'd like to take the brown out just before we move on, but the orange is still sitting there anyway, so it's not as if I'm going to start like going up this draw. I mean, I don't know. I'm a bit baffled. I mean, yes, by all means, chuck one of the units down the. How have we got 3 counters in there? Oh, it's a climb marker. That's it. How's he disrupted? Oh, he must have got disrupted from red, did he? No. It was orange. Oh, it must have been orange, yeah. Orange diamond. Yeah, he is a diamond, yeah. Sorry, I'm forgetting everything that happened for last night. But, like I say, I was actually a little bit tipsy, so hopefully it's when I watch back on it, because I feel like I should, just in case I've said anything or done anything out of order. Hopefully I don't need to. Well, I certainly don't want to scrap it and do it again, but I'm sure you've seen stuff like it before already. I'm sure I've showed my true colours already. So yeah, well, where was the other point then? Let's just okay, hang on. I know you think, oh, Grant, don't go over all this again. We know how many points you've got, but I mean, we're going to move something into here and something into here. So we're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, okay, it is 9. But here's a thought. Yeah, no, that was a 1. And let's just say be reinforced. Now, that's not the end of the world because we would have still been able to get these 2 A's and, well, these 3 A positions. So that would have gave us the 8 points across there if B had reinforced, right? So, and bearing in mind, I didn't think about this hex, right? So if I thought there was a possibility of getting 8 across there, 9, 10, let's not attack that. That was crazy. So, I don't know what my thinking had been there. Because I definitely didn't consider this hex. I don't think I once talked about this being a point for me. So I was clearly only believing that we had these 2 points on this side. And knowing there that there's a possibility that B had reinforced that we could have only got 8 points across that side could have meant the end of the game. However, hopefully I would have realised that in the end anyway. But in my mind, it was like that. So, and Brown wasn't giving us nothing. Brown wasn't giving us nothing. Why did we not attack there? It felt wrong. It did feel wrong. And like I say, by all means, use one of the actions to move the guy down there, putting him in intense brown to protect the other units. That was fine. Just leave that guy back there and use the action here to make the attack. So now we're moving on to turn 16 and we cannot take this out. Well, unless it's a tactical reinforcement depth marker. Which we're not frightened of because, like I say, I've worked that one out that we've not got any units to reinforce, so I'd be happy with that. However, we don't need it, and like I say, I don't think anything can go wrong. Communication is not going to be an issue. We can trace through here. This brown is the closest it gets. It only fires round a bit. Okay, it goes into the A2 hexes, but it doesn't touch any of these. So then we get a way up here, out the way, and then there's nothing along the top. And then we can come right back down, right around the side, and then just come in from there, and we've got these points. So that is a definite, yeah, we're good. And who would have thought? And I'll tell you what though, what about the event? I was like, I think I had to, I think I felt bad because I thought, you guys think I've placed that, it was C, D and E, wasn't it? German reinforcements in C, D and E. That's the event that we got. I was like, how lucky was that? Because, I suppose F, we could have got F as well. F2 with the reinforcement. Yeah, it would have been fine. It would have been F2. So we could have got F as well. That would have been okay. And like I say, we could have also got B, and it would have ended up being okay. But that would have made that decision there slightly worse because I'd think at first, I've only got 10 points. But we got C, D and E. Perfect. Okay, not the perfect event, but it gets us on to turn 17, so we're delighted. Well, let's just get on with this and get it done, yeah? 7 catastrophic losses on each side. We got lucky. A few things. Well, the purple one disrupted. We got lucky there. Moved our hero up that bluff. I don't know. I think probably you would have took the chance. But you know what? See if I'd been moving the hero into purple's steady fire, and it was going to be adjacent to it, enabling it to have an attack. Like this hex, if it had been a case of, I can move my hero into here, but he's going to be in purple steady, and purple's disrupted, but he could undisrupt, I would have done that. But we were moving him into this hex here, and his next move has got to be to try and climb this buff, which means sitting in this hex 2 turns, red steady fire. It wasn't really gaining us an awful lot. Yes, I might now have to come down and do that, possibly. Because how else are we going to get the mortar for that? That was incredibly bad luck. The only weapon that I could have got, and it would have been fine if it had been on the depth marker, but if it was on the counter, that was a failure from me, and that's what happened. That was such a shame. Like I say, I'm sure a couple of you out there probably know I knew already. I was like, that's a mortar. He's not got a mortar with him. He's going to be gutted. He was gutted, but anyway, the event didn't let us down. It kept us in there. So yeah. Anything else to? Thought there was something else. I know I had to make that messy wee fix in the middle there, but I think it went okay. I don't feel like there was no gain for me. It was worse for me. I took another loss. That was the best I could do fix-wise. Shuffling up the WN markers and all that, randomising them again, well... yeah, sorry I got called away there. I think I was talking about the blunder, wasn't I? Well, I'm a little bit concerned, but I just noticed just now, Jim had, who's been watching the videos, commented on, it was part 14, and he talked about, he says he wasn't sure, but thought I may have done some illegal attack up from range, I think. I'm not quite sure. I've not had the chance to look through the video, but it did kind of concern me. I've asked him if he can give me a timestamp on the video so I can have a look. I don't recall anything, so hopefully... I think he was a bit unsure himself. So, well, we'll see if he comes back and lets me know exactly what it is. Well, fingers crossed I've not tried to do anything like that. That would be really frustrating. To believe I've got to the point where I've got it. We're on turn 17 and then I find something that I've done. I mean, if it's some attack or something that's done wrong that's going to cost me the game, that'd be horrible. But I don't want to get it wrong, so, by all means, Jim, if it is there and if I've done it wrong, then let us know. But hopefully not. Yeah, I was watching this one and we had the general in there and I thought I was going to leave it there. Just watched back in the video and I said, put it in there, Grant, put it in there. And eventually I realised, and I did actually move it into the... But I thought I had left that and I thought, no, put it in there so you can grab that tank along. Right, anyway. Okay, so... Well, these are all reasonably straightforward, aren't they? This guy has to move into here so that he can control these two hexes. Now, there's nothing fires into them. I mean, yellow and blue... Sorry, orange and blue fire into this. Orange is empty, blue is occupied by us, and then purple and green fire into this. Purple is empty and green is occupied, well, actually it's occupied by us, but we're going to move that, so green is going to be empty. Yeah, I do have to do that, don't I? Well, in actual fact, I don't, do I? Now that I know I've got that G5 as a point along the other side. I mean, we only need to get 11 points here. I mean, it doesn't really matter if I get more than 11, unless it's 25, but that's not happening. However, I don't know if I want to move on or not. It's like, what do you do next? I don't know. It's been a while because... fly there. It's been a while that I've, because we didn't make it last time, so I'm not really sure what to do. I know, there's an exit point A, and I mean there's nothing here at all at the moment. But remember, the game totally changes up. I'm not sure the right thing for me is to exit units. I don't know. I feel like I've not got enough. I suppose the only thing I would think is maybe moving up here and trying to take the draw. I mean, it's the draws I kind of want to get. That's my kind of feeling of it. I know there was a guy commented recently about he felt that it was a bit unthematic, where it was easier to move units off the map to gain the points that you require, rather than what should have been the purpose was to take these draws, but there's a lot less points and they're difficult. They're harder to control, really, and I think it drops down to a 4 victory point situation for them. I mean, look at all the hexes you've got to control, so that is kind of tough. But So, well, I probably should move up. Well, hang on, where are we putting the HQ? Now, is there any danger? That the problem could be here. If I move that into there, no, I'm saying that if A reinforces, it's going to be A4, isn't it? And we're moving into the extended game, and I have absolutely no idea. I can't remember. I probably should have started reading up some of the rules and some of the actual lettered actions to find out what they're going to do. And plus, we've got these tanks that Martin insisted upon. Anyway, so, and I think we're going to leave this guy here, aren't we? And leave this guy here and leave this guy here. So that kind of like holds the 3 hexes, whereas these are open to, and like I said, this is the one that would reinforce if it came up on the next event. Oh, and I say next event, you've got to remember that there's going to start being 2 events a turn as well, so that's something to remember. Oh, my units are kind of spread about a bit though, and what do you do with HQ? Yeah, I don't think I want to move. Well, hang on though. If I did move this guy here, I don't think they could reinforce an A1 anyway because of communication issues. They couldn't trace into there, into there. They could actually trace into there. Ooh. Oh, there you go. They could. So A1 would reinforce, and that wouldn't be very nice, would it? So let's just leave that guy there. And yeah, like I said, so if A does reinforce, it's going to be A4 because that's adjacent. So if you're leaving the 3 guys there, I suppose we move our HQ. Well, here's the thing though. We've got to start thinking about our HQ, where it's going to settle. Because we could get that in motion right away as well, couldn't we? I don't think I've ever been away up here at the end of turn 16, and I think it's the only reason that I'm actually going to be able to progress in this game, because it's the only bit that hasn't really, we've just been lucky with the reinforcements. They've all went elsewhere, So what am I looking for? HQ. Right, hang on. Yeah, establishing a command post. I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same as the engineer base, isn't it? An HQ unit may convert to a command post in any hex that is not in the potential field of fire of any German position. The German occupied position or unoccupied position in German communication projects any fire dots in the HQ's hex. The HQ may not convert. So, that's where the problem lies. And that's where maybe we don't move that. However, it doesn't matter, because if I put the HQ into here, it can't convert there because this is in German communication. Although it's empty, it's still in German communication, and it fires into this hex. So, and at the moment, I can't place it there because of the same situation. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to place it until we get... If we get another turn and can put it into there, then that's not a bad spot, actually. So if we do that, would it be silly to place the HQ into this hex? Well, I think it would, because we know nothing can reinforce there. Well, again, I should probably start reading pages 21, well, more so 22 and 23, where it tells you about all the different lettered actions and what they do. Redeploy, reoccupy, resupply, reinforce. I mean, all these things sound horrible, don't they? So shouldn't you go away and look at? Well, you know what? I don't think I will. I think I'll just get things into place here, get turn 16 done with, and hopefully then I'll maybe pick the rulebook up before I move on to turn 17. Well, I wouldn't be betting that one though. But I will try and do that. So I think this wouldn't be a bad spot to place our headquarters, our command post though, because it's only yellow that's firing into it. So as long as we can, and this unit next turn, or this one could move into there, and then our HQ could move back into there, and then because well, hang on though, Grant. No, because the engineer phase comes first, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I wouldn't be able to establish. So, is there any hex I would be able to establish? I suppose there I would. Well, actually, there I would as well. Feels like it's going back a step, but it would allow you to establish. Now, it's all about getting... I don't know when you get garrisons. Right, so how far can you stretch out? 4. If I was there, 1, 2, 3, 4. I control right out to there. As the garrisons... Oh no, the garrisons come from the engineer base. Yeah, they do. I think the what am I trying to say? Command posts just allow free actions, don't they? Yeah. And they allow the artillery and that. Better capabilities. So, yeah, I'm not so sure where I should really be trying to do this. I think maybe slightly further up would be nice if things, but then it depends what kind of happens. So I think, no, I've already said I don't really want to move that guy though, do I? But if we do move on, yeah, communications traceable. That's kind of annoying, isn't it? Can we not stop that? No, I don't think we can. Do we put in there at least control these two then? Yeah, I guess I'm just I don't know. It's all been about trying to just grab the points just now, and now we're like trying to think different thoughts. So I want to just get through this turn and actually move that counter on to turn 17 really, and get ready for it. Maybe then I can start thinking a bit more about what we're wanting to do. I mean, yeah, you want the draw. I mean, the other reason for needing the draws is obviously that's how you get the artillery and anti-aircraft tanks getting moving up there. So we need that. Yeah, I'm going to move the HQ there, so at least commands A2. I'm kind of running out of time here, unfortunately, but okay. Yeah, I'm not going to have the time to like do an awful lot more at the moment, but hopefully should just be able to pause things. We've got everything kind of covered. I mean, as long as yeah, there's nothing else can happen. We're checking victory points now. Well, at the end of this turn, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this guy 9 because these are controlling that. We did want to make the last move into there with that, and then there's a risk with that, but it will enable us to. The problem is, an engineer base, we really need to be dealing with this, or I don't think we can clear. You don't get to clear hexes if the Germans are firing into it, do you? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah, see, again, these are just things that are all going to be kind of new, and I'm going to have to look up on, and I'm not really prepared for. You may place engineer bases, right? Engineer's range does not extend into hexes in the field of fire of a German occupied position, even if the engineer's range is sufficient to reach that hex. No, okay. Yeah, so at the moment, if we placed our engineer base, the first turn we would clear. Well, remember I told you it clears the shingle immediately. Then we would clear these hexes, so it would clear that anti-tank ditch, but it wouldn't clear the mined road. So you'd need to wait till range 2, and then it would clear that, which is fine because it's in German green fire. However, I don't then think it could clear this hex because brown's still firing into there. So it's all very well establishing it. Yeah, that kind of Then we've got to try and get up to the brown, and then we're going to have to come round this way. Whereas this would have been a better way in for brown from where we were, wouldn't it? Yeah, maybe I didn't get that right then. Maybe I should have said, well, the engineer's base can wait until some of these other units landed, maybe. These guys that are coming in. Get one of them into there and leave this guy up here, where he would have been nicely poised to have a go at him. I don't know. Right, well, you know what? I'm kind of stuck for time now. So I might need to come back to this later. I didn't want to have all that thinking about all that to do, but I suppose now that you know you're moving on to turn 17, you've got to start thinking about it, haven't you? So, yes, indeed. Right, I'll take a cut here now, though, guys, and hopefully just tag it on to the end of this. But I'll be back. Hopefully, be back later. Cheers. Hi all. Right, so still not finished with the US action phase. I've been away for a wee while actually. I've not had much time to sit down, but over the weekend I'm pretty sure I will. However, it also gave me a bit of a chance just to step back and read the extended rules, and I went through them and the armoured rules just for you, Martin. So I've got some idea how they work, but yeah, so I think that was kind of wise. Yeah, sorry, a couple of interruptions there. Yeah, so I've read through them. I mean, obviously I've been through these rules before. Well, not the armour rules. And there was a couple of things I had in mind, but I also thought it was quite a good idea. I mean, although I believe I'm probably forced into moving the units up adjacent to these empty hexes up here to grab the points, it is possible I might reconsider, because I don't think I need them all, did I? I think I was going to get 12 points and I only need 11. There's no real point grabbing 12 just now because, well, they can be lost again. And the reason being is I want to just double check what's the significance of these being empty. What could happen? Reinforced action, for instance, the eligible position for that is an unoccupied reinforcement position in German communication within 2 hexes. No, mind you, it's within 2. Actually, yeah, I think it doesn't matter if you're adjacent, if you're within 2, isn't it? I think that's possibly the rule. However, if I did leave this guy in here, he wouldn't be able to reinforce because we'd have the hex occupied, whereas these kind of would. I mean, I don't know, but I think it's maybe just best before I finish that action phase to get some sort of idea of what I want to do with these guys. And I think I've realised that, well, you know what? I don't want to go into any of that just yet, but there's a few things I need to look over. I got a couple of comments to catch up on, so I figured I should mention them. John Brown said, just in case you haven't found it yet, DUKW, which I didn't come across it. I was going to drag one of the units out there. Where are they? Hang on a sec. Yeah, these guys here. I don't think any of them managed to get in, did they? Or is there some comes later on? I know I just dragged him out the eliminated units box, you know. Yeah, I can see a couple of them in here. Got the feeling they maybe didn't quite make it. They are kind of tough to get on. Anyway, he tells me the D stands for the model year, which is 1942. The U for the body style, utility. K for all-wheel drive, and W for dual rear axles. So there you go. So that's just a kind of code that tells you about it. But anyway, thanks for that, John. And now while we've got John there, he also mentioned something else. What was that? Yeah, he did catch up. He's catching up, basically. I think he's back at part 9 or 10 or something. I think he's maybe works busy and whatever. Anyway, maybe just normal life getting in the way. Pesky life. Yeah, so I had mentioned about, what was it, where he had said about putting the tank together with other unit and whatever, but he was just talking about it being a good idea to do, and I know when he mentioned it, I thought, yeah, I need to consider that. You know, by all means, get a tank beside an infantry unit. As long as there's not going to be a concentrated unit, then you should do that. And then also, he's come back with some percentages of hits and barrages, and I'll let you go and look at that. It's just, he's commented on that in part 14. About there being a 1 in 2 chance of a barrage if you just need the colour, and 1 in 6 if you need both the colour and symbol. And then he mentions a couple other ones, but I don't want to discuss them in case some of you think that maybe not really wanting to know that. And I know I talked about it, and it's handy to know, but I don't think it would change my mind about doing anything, you know, going for it. But you do need to know. I mean, one of the things I believe now that we're going into the reinforcement, mainly reinforcement units, I get the impression the number is 12. You want 12 strength when attacking these units. You're probably going to want to expect flank, but you know, I think these things can be difficult. Sometimes you're going to just have to go for it and sort of say, well, I'm not going to be around there to flank it, because by the time I get a unit round there, probably going to be shot to bits. And the worst thing about these is they don't just hit you, they disrupt you as well while they're unrevealed. So getting them revealed is a pretty good thing to get happening in the first place, you know. And then you can also, well, come the time once we get units up there that can barrage, then we can barrage them when they're revealed. You can't barrage them while they're unrevealed as well. Okay, so a couple other comments. Oh yeah, John had also said that he likes to try and save everything when I was talking about my artillery unit getting drowned there, but I think he understood the position I was in there, and it was a tricky choice. So yeah, well, it felt bad. Now, Jim I thought I'd made some comment that maybe I had mentioned something. I'd made a mistake regarding range fire, or firing across bluffs. Well, he actually particularly picks switch my tablet off. 8.15. That's it. Now 8.15 as we have been over this. I'm pretty sure, Jim, you maybe just missed the parts that I've been talking about. It says, as noted on the terrain effects chart, a unit on the low ground, beach or pavilion may not attack across a bluff or cliff hexside unless capable of conducting range fire. A unit on the high ground may attack across a bluff hexside, but not across a cliff hexside. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have been through all this. I know. Now, however, this was in the other game, wasn't it? So I might be getting muddled up thinking I covered it all in the first attempt at this. So whether you didn't watch any of that, Jim, and maybe I'm just moved on for that. Because we had a situation in that game where I realised I could attack across this bluff because that was going down. But I mean, these guys, they can all attack. They're all at range. They can all fire up to there as long as they're, 1, 2, 3, like. They can't quite reach that. That's a bad example. As long as these positions are firing onto the beach, then these tanks, as long as they've got their conditions to fire, like being in command of an HQ is one of them. But we still need an infantry unit attacking, and then these can support the fire. And tanks, anti-tank units, and anti-aircraft units are all the same. They've got all. We've got one in there. There's an anti-aircraft unit. So the one underneath artillery, and that's one that's different. So that anti-aircraft unit can do exactly the same as what the tank. It brings a couple of slightly different weapons. Now the tanks can barrage, the anti-aircraft and anti-tank stuff cannot do that. Yeah, I mean it's all fine. It's all fine. I think it can be tricky to grasp some of it. I think my question along at the other end was the ranged infantry, where he was firing not only across a bluff, but he was also firing across a cliff. So it was like up a cliff and up a bluff. He was 2 hexes away. And I guess Martin wasn't 100% sure about that, because that was one question he came back with from getting an answer from John Butterfield saying that, yeah, that was okay, as long as the other rules were being adhered to. So yeah, so this anti-aircraft unit under here, it's 3 away, like, yeah, 1, 2, 3. So it can fire up there. If we get these infantry units to attack here, all these units are in command of this HQ. So these 2 tanks can join in, supporting the fire here, and also that anti-aircraft, because its range is 3, 1, 2, 3. And although it's up, they're at range, and these units do fire down into the beach. Now, we can't do that if we had... I need to zoom out a bit for that one, Grant. If we had the range to... Well, for instance, this tank here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from this. If we had an infantry unit here attacking this unit, and this tank being in command of the HQ, you might think, well, I can support fire, he's within range. Well, no, you can't, because if you think about it, this bluff goes up, and then... So there's kind of no line of sight to this guy, it's kind of like that. And I don't think this game ever mentions line of sight, but which is maybe deliberate. Because some people, when they see a line of sight, they think, oh no line of sight rules and that. But I mean, that's kind of what it is. He can fire up and maybe hit something that's leaning over the bluff, firing down. Makes sense, but something that's further inland, he obviously can't see it. So that's a slight bit of that. And like I say, I wasn't quite sure if you were specifically talking about any part that I had maybe mentioned in that, because it was in part 14 he had made the comment, so I don't know. Jim also recently commented, giving me the rules that you would have to follow if you were playing, what is it? Advanced Squad Leader, I think. From ASL, and then he quotes me the rule. They must have an actual rule within the game that tells you that if you make a mistake, and even if it is, what is it? You cannot be backed up to correct an error, even if such an error is in violation of a rule. Yeah, I get that, Jim. I will sort of say, like I say, I don't I've got the starter kit somewhere, and I tried it once. I think there is kind of solitaire rules for it, and I always thought about looking into that, but um, I think it's more one that you need to play with somebody else, and I'm not all for solo and things like that. However, I know it's a very popular game, and I would have quite liked to have got into it a bit, but I think it's pretty heavy, and it can get quite. The rules in it are quite deep. However, I do believe. Well, I might be wrong actually, but is it not played in competition as well? And I guess you need rules and like that to say that. But we're playing ourselves here, so I know I don't mean I get what you're saying about maybe because this was a mistake. We shouldn't backtrack. We should just leave it. But that doesn't feel right with me when we're doing this. I guess if I was playing an opponent and it was advanced squad leader, or we were wanting to follow the rules for advanced squad leader errors, then if my opponent didn't spot that, I can understand that you can just say, oh well, I've got away with that one, it was a mistake, but my opponent didn't spot it, I didn't spot it, we can't go back and fix it and all that. But if that was the case, I wouldn't be able to have my wee sneaky fixes of when we moved this ranger unit. I had finished my turn, I came back and I looked at it and I thought, as a strategy point of view, I think I should have made this move, So it would stop me from doing that, and it would stop me from fixing this, and I think I fixed this pretty good. I mean, I suffered for it. I got an extra catastrophic loss. Yeah, I don't want to make a mistake at all. I'm very big on that, but I'm only human, I guess. So yeah, I was happy enough with that, the way that worked. But yeah, I can understand if you're playing squad leader and maybe playing in a competition, and I played some competition game wise. I done some Magic the Gathering stuff back in the day, and things, there was rules and you had to adhere to them. You couldn't sort of say, oh well, actually I'm not going to do that, I'm going to backtrack. And no, you're playing in a competition here, but we're not, we're sitting trying to have fun. So, but anyway, thanks for bringing up the fact that I probably don't like to play ASL. No, I'm only kidding. I suppose these games, they have to have rules, So same, just like I've said, Magic the Gathering. If you're playing against somebody, even if it's not a serious, I get together with my pals and that, we can, I had a Magic last weekend. I had the guys round and we were playing Magic, and it was great fun. But there's certain bits that will allow you to backtrack a little bit, oh, I forgot to play a land card, that's just daft things that you just kind of forget. But if you do it in a competition, if you're playing in a competition, that's tough, you've had it. Okay, that's enough of that. Martin, as we're in, hey, congratulates me on getting to the extended game. Well, we've not counted up our score yet, but yeah, it's good to hear him say that. So I'm hoping he has counted up, although maybe not. So we've still got to count up. He gives a couple of tips for oh no, that was previously. No, yeah, when I was talking about knowing what the strength and weapon requirements of this 88 unit might be, it's like hell no, he's not managed to sort of remember all them. I just thought the fact that there's only two 88s, I think I might remember now that they're both 2 strength. Maybe not though. Maybe not. I mean, if I put the game away and then don't get out again for another year, it might have washed out my mind, I think. And the actual weapon requirements, not so sure. They might stick though. Some of these things do when you put that thought into them. But anyway, he says he doesn't. He says the only thing that he does. I do remember between games are the relative strengths, and that reinforcements often have flanking requirements. So yeah, we're going to have to seriously consider getting round flanking a unit. And I I thought Martin had made some comments on some advice about the. Maybe that was further back actually. Right, well, we'll leave that for now. All the comments are on my YouTube videos anyway, if anybody's wanting to look more into what's been said. Yeah, just while we're talking about that flanking requirements, it got me thinking, and I hadn't looked at the fire card, and the fire card in the east was double brown. It was double brown. And I'm just taking us back to this situation, well, where we were, we had a mission, and then we cancelled the mission, and look there, we would have got away with it. Double brown. So it would have fired, we were, we've been sitting here right now with this guy, and the two little guys would now be sitting there. So we would have had 10 strength round about this guy, flanking him, and double brown fired, and we would have got away with it, because there's only a single unit there. So that's a bit of a shame. I mean, our two actions would have been on that, and it's a big shame because I kind of feel like I've got to go up there and try and take that unit out. And it's also something that's come to my mind is this situation here about, I'm not 100% sure I do need to go and cover that. I'm just going to look that up in a minute. But it is a shame because we would have been sitting that. But when you worked it out, I mean, if Brown had fired the last twice, then the game would have been over. So, you know, if it had been a single Brown fire the last two times, the game would have been over. So it was probably wise to do it, but it just shows you that it would have been a nice wee mission. I wish I had just no noticed it and made bashed on me it now that I see the fire cards, obviously. Okay. Yeah, and while we're here, like I say, I think because we can't clear this hex. The engineers can't clear this hex. Engineer base. Once we plonk it down, then first turn it just as a 0. Then it'd be 1. Then it'd be 2. And to be honest, the next again turn it stays at 2. And then at the moment we wouldn't be able to clear this hex because Brown's firing into that. And the same goes for this red position further up. Red fires into this and this. So we need to secure the hexes. We need to remove the German units before we can get our non-infantry units up the draw there. At least I'm pretty sure that's my understanding of it. I think I need to take the guys out. So yeah, we've got some nice new infantry coming on here. So I guess we're going to hopefully go with the general and go up this way, I think. But yeah, the one thing I wanted to look at when I was looking through the extended rules, let's see if I can find this. I'll just pause just now though. Yeah, it was obviously the fear was that in the moment this hex is unoccupied, and German communications traceable to that hex. So the danger is the reoccupy action. But when I fully read through the reoccupy action, it's 16.1 that talks about it, but the following rule 16.11, it says only one hex of a 2 hex WN position need be occupied by a US unit to protect the position for reoccupation. If both hexes of a 2 hex WN position are eligible, place reoccupying units in both hexes. So yeah, that is right. So as long as we've got a unit here, they can't reoccupy there. And that's right, isn't it? If a WN position selected performance action is unoccupied by US and German units and can trace German communication, randomly draw a previously eliminated WN unit. So I think that's all I'd read at first, but when I was reading through the rules, obviously I read it all, and that's what it just said, just what I've read. Only one hex of a 2 hex WN position need be occupied by a US unit to protect the position. Okay, so as long as we do have something in this other green position, yeah, my guess is the general's not going to be enough for that, is he? Because he can just get captured, can't he? So that's not, yeah. I I don't think I'd be getting away with that one, would I? I suppose it's maybe just the word on there that got me thinking about that. I know it says, I'm jumping about here, I'm looking at generals now, 11.3 and then particular 11.31. And general may be in a hex by himself, or may stack with any US units. The presence of a general alone in a hex does not inhibit German fire or communication in any way. If a general is a sole occupant of a German position, when a German unit is called to be placed there, place the unit and remove the general from play he's being captured. Yeah, I think that is it's just because it talks about only one hex of a 2 hex WM position need be occupied, but well, it does say by a US unit, and we know that a general's not a US unit. He's not a unit. Right, okay. I'm trying to wangle my way. It's just that, obviously, now saying what I've said about moving this unit up. However, we probably want to wait another unit's landing anyway, so there's maybe not a mad rush to move out of there. But what it does let me do is not have to move into here, because Brown is firing into there. So that's quite nice. Yeah, so hopefully I've got that right. I didn't think about that, I must admit. I didn't think about that, but it does say it there. Only one hex needs to be occupied by US unit to protect the position from reoccupation. And that's the only action I think that can happen in there in an unoccupied WN position. I think. Obviously, it's a different story if it's a reinforcement position. Because the reinforce action says an unoccupied reinforcement position in German communication. So, and within 2 hexes of a US unit. Yeah, and they're not double positions. So, you know, if this was just, you know, that's a different thing altogether. Carried away there. Okay, well that's quite good. So, right, hang on. I thought there was something else I wanted to mention. No, I think that was all. That was all for now. Right, so am I happy with these then? I think the fact that if they're 2 away, oh yeah, I did talk about maybe holding back on that guy, didn't I? Just to protect that. Because if we get, I mean, okay, you're not going to be able to protect all these positions. You're going to have to take chances. It's the same again if the letter comes up. So it was, in particular, that reinforce act. So if we get an R on the card, and it's a green R, then this is an unoccupied reinforcement position in German communication and within 2 hexes of a US unit. So it says, that's a point. It's VP positions now. If the position is a VP position, place a reinforcement unit with a depth mark in the position. Well, that's what would happen right there. So if the position is not a VP position and has US units in its intense or steady field of fire, place a reinforcement unit with a depth marker. Yeah, well, that would still happen anyway as well, wouldn't it? Because we're in steady green fire there. If it says if a non-VP position only has units in its sporadic field of fire or has no units in its field of fire at all, conduct no action. So these are some of the things you've got to watch. There's a table up there, isn't there? Yeah, it's a wee bit. So I've got it up there under my plexi, but it's right up in the top corner there. I'm just focused in on it, but that's the table I had cut out. But that looks a bit too far away for me to mess about with, so I might bring the chart out for that as well. I think that would be wise. Hang on. So I think I know a better idea. I'm going to swap that over with the landing table because, mind you, there's not an awful lot to look at with the landing table now, and that would be right beside me. Let's see if I can wangle that. Okay, there we go. That's me move them about a bit, although it's right underneath my light, so I don't know what the light situation looks like in there. It's okay. But I mean, you can see there's a lot going on this table anyway, so... But what you want to do is, these are the WM positions on this side. Sort of under the sort of grey part, and then the reinforcement position on the orange. And here we've got our optional variant German armour, which I'm going to have to look at. So, and then you've got occupied and unoccupied, and then here as well, occupied and unoccupied. So, yeah, I might still bring that chart out, I think. It just looks a bit fiddly to look at that. Whether once I get into the swing of it, it'll be easier to look at this probably, but hang on. Well, I'm glad I actually did get that out. There it is there. That's what comes with the game. Well, my version of the game anyway. I've not got the mounted map, so there's a more modern version, isn't there? But that's a bit bigger and yeah, possibly a bit easier to... I think the way they've got it on that chart's written a bit better up the top. However, yeah, and the reason being on the back of this is something new that we're going to have to need. This is a German armour movement map. And then obviously I went through the rules and all that. And I'll tell you something that I found which was nice. Now, where was it again? It's in the rulebook. It's something I was a bit curious of before, and why am I not seeing it in here? Hang on. Yeah, that's why I can't find it. It must be in the newer rulebook, and it shows you a picture of the map, German armour fields of fire, and basically explains, because the armour can move about, and it obviously has a different, its field of fire obviously moves with it, obviously. So there's a wee description, but the thing that I liked about it was, hang on, I'm just going down here to look, and I think I pointed this out in the first game that I played. This hex is a bocage hex. It's got, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's got hedges, that's it, or whatever they are, within the hex, and this one clearly is as well. And this one looks fair enough. It's hedged round about it, and maybe, you could say, well, it's not bocage, it's just hedged all round about it. But there was a couple, like, see this one here, and I wasn't too sure about this. Now, maybe this is just me, and maybe you guys have all thought, yeah, that's just a hedge, and it's not falling quite on the hex side because it's a road, it's a track it's on, or a road or whatever. So that's still just hedge, but I think when I played the game before, I would have thought this was bocage. But that diagram, and it's relevant to where the fields of fire, the German armour go, and it's got a few of these hexes in the diagram, and these are clearly just hedged hexes. These are hedge all the way. And again, maybe this one here, the hedge is in the middle, so I'm guessing, and it's got that, so that one's bocage, I would think. But there's two or three, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 hexes you look at and you say, oh, is it or isn't it? But, these ones here, but they're clearly just hedges, but they're, if it followed the hex side, it would look a bit, graphically it would look a bit, they made it look nicer by just having it kind of coming down the side. But it's still a hedge, it's not a bocage terrain hex. But yeah, I found that out, it shows you that better on that map. Anyway, but yeah, I've not got that in my rule book, so that's, I might need to try and print that page out, because I can't see it anyway. Yeah, so where were we? So yeah, looking at unoccupied hexes and what can happen. That's, I think, something that you got to get important, because it's all very well looking at this brown position. This brown position is occupied, right? What can it do? Well, let's just say it's a brown P. Well, it's occupied. Does it have units in its field of fire? It does not. So it's going to patrol, it's going to disrupt one US unit within 3 hexes of its position. So there you go. So it's fine when you look at them and they've got something in it. You just think, right, but what about this? What if this comes up? What if purple comes up? The main one to think about is if they're unoccupied, there's got to be a unit within 2 hexes. So that's a big one. So there's nothing within 2. So we don't need to worry about that one. However, like I've just said, all these up here, they're all within 2. So if the colour comes up on the card, then what do we need to be worried about? Well, you just go down that column. Sorry, I can probably show you it here, just we might as well. So we go, here's unoccupied, in German this is it. Unoccupied, in German communication, and within 2 hexes of a US unit. So that's what all these hexes are. So if it was an F action, I don't know if you can see it right along there, it's not maybe the best colour. There's no action. If it's an armour symbol action, it's no action. So I mean, obviously there's nothing in them. They're not able to fire, so there's no action right through. And then, but here's the big one. If it's an R action, it's going to reinforce, like we just talked about. If it's a VP position, well, all these are. So they're all, I mean, we don't want to see an R on the next fire card in the East. Or, there's maybe going to be 1 or 2 of these will reinforce. And unless we backtrack this, like I say, I'm not quite finished with my movement yet. So, and then if it's an M, there's no action. If it's a P, and then if it's an A, you've got ambush, and that's 1 US unit with indicated target symbol in the position's field of fire is hit. So what happens is no unit appears in any of these hexes with the A action, but if it's a diamond, that's sitting in steady fire of that yellow position. So if you get a yellow A with a diamond, this guy takes a hit. He's ambushed. There's no unit there. It's just kind of like saying that there's maybe some small squad kicking about or a sniper or something like that. So they're the big ones you've got to think about. So I suppose it's the reinforce and the ambush. And when it comes to the WN positions, the only one they get, as you'll see down their column, this is unoccupied. So everyone's no action apart from the reoccupy. So, but needs to be in German communication. And as we've just found out, if we occupy one of the hexes, that protects the other hex, which is nice to know. Okay, 35 minutes, Grant, and we've done nothing. Well, we'll just try to get this turn finished, I guess. Well, why don't you do that, Grant? Okay, so, well, I need to be sure about this. I think if we can just keep that guy there, it might be more sensible now that I think about it. And then, but the other thing I wanted to think about was the HQ base. I've already spoke that I think what we want to do is try and get this unit to go up here and try and take this guy out first, and then with that squad head further in and try and do something with this guy. This is the best area we've got at the moment. This has got a depth. This doesn't even have a depth marker, and I'm not saying he's not still a strong unit. He may well require flank as well, but it's the best area on the map that we've got at the moment. So, I think if I can leave that guy back there, it would be better. And then, I don't know, I suppose just try and, well, we don't need to take the whole draw. I mean, you get 4 points at the end, I think, for that. But we want to be able to get these units up. And I just looked at that last, the 2 artillery units that just got the B action, and that was them, delayed until June the 7th. I was like, that was pretty brutal, wasn't it, as well? But I suppose I was more considered with just seeing if I could hang on to the turn 17. So yeah, but to get our units right up here and then up onto the high ground, we can't have this position occupied by German units or this. So we need to do something about that. The other draws we've got, well, you know what, I'll come to that. I think the only draws that we've seriously got that we can seriously do something with is this one, and probably D1 along the other side. And so it's just, I'm looking, we've got, well, we're very sparse for units, so we've got 2 or 3 and a couple of tanks there. So this is probably where they've got the most non-infantry. Unfortunately, this is our 4-strength tank, and look at this. I mean, this draw is not going to be open for anytime soon, is it? So, but then D1 possibly is. So we've got 2 or 3 units about there, but I'm just thinking, I don't know, should we start heading this tank down so that he might be able to get up onto the high ground? Or, I don't know. You can't help with the brown and the orange position here, right enough, but right, okay. Well, let's look along here first. Anyway, Grant, well, let's just get this bit finished. Right, I think I'm tempted to take this back into here. As long as we don't need the points. So 1, 2, nothing else the Germans can do. 1, 2, there's nothing firing into there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're all good there. We're controlling that from these guys. They might move along 1, but that's fine. And I remember by moving that there, German communication is not traceable to there, because it can't go up that way, can't go along. And this was the hex it could move into, but we moved this unit down, so I could just leave that guy there if I want, and all is good. So what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 8 on that side, and then we can skip the whole middle part. And then, fortunately, we realise, so as long as we're willing to have this unit move up, which could be, well, is it risky? No. Because I wouldn't want this reinforcing. And if I move that into there, this guy's only doing is removing his climb marker, but he exerts control into there and there, but yeah, communication would be traceable, wouldn't it? If I moved into there, that would block it. Yeah, that would block it, but it's a slightly riskier hex because red sporadic fires into there. But that might be safer. And then, because if I move into there and we get a brown R, that will reinforce. So, there you go. But if we don't take the B position across the other side, we do need to move this unit to grab this G5. So that is 1. That would be 1, and then the red position, and then the green position. And they can all trace communication up and away around. Just need to be double sure about that. Yeah, I mean, as long as I can get down to my units at the other end, yeah, there's no issues there, is there? If I move that unit into there, got control of this. So the furthest away one's the green, so it traces into here, into here. This is US communication, into here. Here is fine, here is fine. Yeah. And then we're safe. Once we're up there, there's nothing round the back, and we just come right round in a circle. Well, a big semicircle, and then back down to the beach. So yeah, so that would be fine, I think. Okay, and then that would give us 1, 2, 3 on this side. And then, like I've just counted, 8 on the other side. So that is okay. I don't need to go up and grab that B position. I think that's probably a better idea. I don't want units coming in behind me, you know. That feels like it's behind. I want to secure that before I go. Actually, Martin made, one of the things he didn't realise was he had left a space behind that could get reinforced, and it got reinforced, and it was right where he put his command post. And a German unit reinforced, and that just totally screwed him up. So if we leave that guy there, see, I don't really want to leave these strong units lying about, but I'm not sure how you. I mean, the engineer base can start heading out and getting, like, a place it there probably, but man, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 range. I mean, that's its very, very last place before we can put an garrison unit there. So that's a long way away, but. Yeah, that's fine. We would be able to put the engineer base there, because. Oh, hold on. That's a different rule. That's why we do need to go into there, don't we? Hang on. Yeah, I think we do, although that kind of feels like the rule should be. I don't know if it feels like they might have missed something there. And by that I mean, I've just explained to you about the reoccupy action, where, because we've got a unit here, this cannot reoccupy. But establishing an engineer base may be placed in any beach hex in its division sector that is not in the potential field of fire of any German position. If a German occupied position or a non-occupied position in German communication projects any fire dots into the beach hex, engineer base may not be placed there. Well, that's telling me that we can't place it, but I'm also arguing the fact that this can't reoccupy while I've got a unit there, so the only I can think the wording is any German position. Well, hang on. What are we? Oh, no, you're away on one here, Grant. What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm talking rubbish, aren't I? I'm getting all mixed up here. If a German occupied position or a non-occupied position in German communication projects it. Yeah, what are you talking about, Grant? It's this. No, that is right. I'm right. Yeah, no, I'm right. Yeah, I thought I was. So that's kind of saying that we can't put the engineer base there. So what was it? How is it worded? German position. If a German occupied or an unoccupied position. So here's the thing. Is this position unoccupied, or have we got it occupied? Because it's a double one. Okay, I was really looking up things there and trying to find out this, and I went and actually posted a wee question. I know this comes up more in the sister games, Tarawa and Pelelu, regarding 2 hex positions, you know. And it seems to me, as the rules are written, right, that with me having a unit here, nothing can reoccupy this hex. So that's fine. But it also seems to me, the way the rules are written, that this is an unoccupied German position in German communication, right? So, and it's got a green field of fire into these beach hexes, which kind of, if you look at the rules, means that I cannot place an engineer base in one of these hexes because of that. And I think the question, like I say, at the very end of my question, if you want to go and look at it, it's maybe quite lengthy, but is this an unoccupied German position? Because I think it's there's a bit of confusion about the fact that this is a German position. Well, the 62 South and 62 North are a position by themselves. So sometimes they class it as that as the position. Well, I'm occupying it. So is it unoccupied? Does that count? That's what I'm meaning. I mean, obviously if that wasn't there, then it's unoccupied. But if that's there, is this unoccupied because it's part of the two? And I think that's what it boils down to. But if you think about what I'm trying to ask here, there's no German unit that can redeploy there, reoccupy there. So why do I need to, why can't I build my engineer base there? I know it's written in the rules like that, but maybe that's a wee sort of bit that they never thought about. I don't know. Anyway, it looks like I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much into it. That's quite a possibility. Right, listen, I'm going to have to take a break now, and I've not even moved any units about. Okay, I moved this guy back, haven't I? So I think we want to keep him there. I'll get around to finishing this action phase, guys. It looks like I might actually have to cut this into another part, though, the way I've been going on, but anyway, I've got the weekend ahead that I should have more time to sit down and get things moving, but I better get away for now. Okay, cheers.